What's up, guys? We are under review, and today we have a new video for you guys.
And today, our first topic will be about the NFL draft.
Yes, so the NFL draft is less than a month away. I believe it's 3 weeks away. In the first round of the playoffs, I would love for my Bears to take Deshaun Watson. He's a proven winner, comes up in clutch time, makes big plays when it's time for a big play to be made, and I just believe he's the right guy for us.
And for my team, I would like for my Kansas City Chiefs to pick up a quarterback. I am not that big on Alex Smith. We could easily go with a defensive player, but I think our defense is good enough. So I would like for my Chiefs to take either Deshaun Watson or just Deshaun Kaiser if still available. If not, then we'll settle for like Mitch Trubisky or another player. And for our second topic, we're going to talk about the NHL standings and our predictions. So right now, looking at it, the Blackhawks are the number 1 seed in the West, followed by Minnesota, followed by Anaheim, Edmonton, San Jose, St. Louis, Calgary, and Nashville. And for the East, we have Washington, who just recently won the Presidential Trophy, and trailing them is the Pittsburgh Penguins, right? Columbus Blue Jackets, Montreal, Ottawa, New York, Boston, then New York as a wild card, and Toronto Maple Leafs, New York Islanders, and the Tampa Bay Lightning as wild card teams. But by the looks of it, looks like Toronto is going to get that final wild card seed. So there's only 2 games left, and it's really going to be tough to steal that from Toronto. And looking at the matchups for that, we have the Blackhawks going up against the Nashville Predators. We have the Minnesota Wild going against the Blues, the Ducks going against the Flames, and the Oilers going against the Sharks. So I guess we're going to talk about the West first, and then we'll do the East afterwards. So who do you have between the Blackhawks and the Predators?
Well, see, I'm a big Blackhawks fan, mainly because of Corey Crawford. I think he's the best goalie right now in the league. You may have a different option on that, but I think he's the best in the league right now. He's just a monster, and he's pretty clutch in clutch time. Plus, we also have a pretty good backup goalie. So if he's getting tired, we could easily swap him out. Put in our backup, he's pretty good. So I have Blackhawks taking that one, and then I have between the Wild and the Blues. The Blues are a pretty good team. They eliminated the Blackhawks last year, so I'm gonna take the Blues over the Wild.
So the Blackhawks are going against the Predators. The Predators have a pretty good defense, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop the Blackhawks. So I have the Blackhawks winning that series in 5 games. And I think Brent Seabrook is going to be a vital part of that victory. And for the Wild and Blues, I have the St. Louis Blues going over the Minnesota Wild in 7 games. I think it's going to be a hard-fought series. But I think Vladimir Tarasenko is going to go off in this series and just carry the team. And that's the Central Division matchups. Looking at the Pacific Division matchups, we have the Ducks and the Flames and Oilers against the Sharks. Who do you have?
I'm going to take the Ducks over the Flames, just because of the fact that I believe that they're hungry to get back into the playoffs and compete for that Stanley Cup, as every team is going to be. The stakes change once you get into the playoffs, so every team is hungrier than they were during the regular season. So if you were a monster during the regular season, you might want to watch out for that team because they might just come back hard. So I'm going to take the Ducks over the Flames in 6. I think that's going to be a pretty good series. And then I have to take Oilers over the Sharks, and probably I'd take them in 5.
The Ducks against the Flames is going to be a pretty interesting series, but I think Calgary might pull an upset here and upset the Ducks in I would say 6 or 7 games. I'm not sure where it would end, but I have the Calgary Flames upsetting the Anaheim Ducks. And for the Oilers and Sharks, although the Oilers have a better record than the Sharks, I have the Sharks beating the Oilers in 6 games. I think the Sharks, they want retribution from losing against the Pittsburgh Penguins in last year's Stanley Cup Finals, and I think they're going to make a pretty deep playoff run. And so by the looks of it, it will be setting up Blackhawks versus Blues as we both have it, and then Ducks and you had the Oilers.
Yeah, had the
Oilers for you, and then Flames and Sharks for me. So I guess we'll do the Blackhawks and Blues first. What were your thoughts on that?
My prediction, it's going to be low scoring games. Great defense will be played. It's gonna go to 7 games. It'll be a shocker to me if it ends in less than 7. Both teams are great. They have great coaches, great players. I just think, as Mark said, Vladimir Tarasenko, he can take off throughout the whole playoffs. But the Blackhawks, I think they have a bit more playmakers, and I think they have their defense is really great, but I think, for the Blues, their defense is phenomenal, as we saw last year in the playoffs. So, like I said, we have Scott Darling and Corey Crawford, so it can go either way, but I'm taking my Blackhawks in 7.
Yeah, I also think it's going to go to 7 games. I think both teams are really great. They both have really good sharpshooters offensively, and they really have good defenses. The Blackhawks, I think, in my opinion, although I am a Blues fan, I think the Blackhawks have better goalies and better defensemen than the Blues do. Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, really great defensive players. You know that well. Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews leading that offense. That's a 1-2 punch right there. But I'm going with my Blues in 7 games. I think that I think they're gonna upset the Blackhawks once again and go on to the conference championship game. Then you have the Ducks.
Sorry, one more comment about the Blues and the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks they have some great rookies on the team. They got great young guys who will keep adding to this franchise. Adding more Stanley Cups, and I believe that I'm gonna take my Blackhawks all the way, baby. But
it's already said and done for that. So, but I guess we'll see the remaining of his matchups. So you have the Ducks against the Oilers. Who do you have in that series?
I'm gonna take the Oilers for the upset. Obviously the Oilers are the number 2 seed, and the Ducks are the number 1 seed. So I'm taking the only reason I'm taking the Oilers is because I love a good upset. So I'm going with the Oilers.
And for my matchup between the Flames and the Sharks, I have another upset. I'm very big on upsets, and I'm a very huge believer in underdogs. So I have the Flames upsetting the Sharks in 6 games, which would set up a series against the St. Louis Blues. And I think that's going to be a good high-scoring game, all games. But I think ultimately the Calgary Flames are going to end up going on top. So this was setting up Blackhawks against the Oilers for Darnell, and then the Blues versus the Flames for me. You said the Blackhawks against
Blackhawks.
Oilers, but how many games?
That's going to be a good 5 games for the Blackhawks and the Oilers. 5 games. Blackhawks taking it.
All right, I have the Blues going over the Calgary Flames in 7 games. I think that the Blues are going to be a bit worn out. They are facing up against, in my standings predictions, against the Wild, who are a great, phenomenal team, and against the Blackhawks. I think they're going to be a bit worn out, which is why I think it's going to go to 7 games. But ultimately, they're going to bounce back late in the series, and they're going to beat the Calgary Flames and go on to the Stanley Cup Finals up against our other predictions, which we'll mention right now. So we're going to shoot through quick this one, the Eastern Conference. So we have Capitals against the Leafs, Penguins against the Blue Jackets, Canadians against the Rangers, and Senators against the Bruins. So we're gonna shoot quick. He's just gonna say who he has, how many games. We're not gonna go into explanations, and then I'll give mine, and we'll just keep going forward. So who do you have between the Capitals and Maple Leafs?
I have Capitals over the Maple Leafs in 6.
Penguins, Blue Jackets.
I have the Penguins over the Blue Jackets in 5.
Canadians, Rangers.
I'm taking the Rangers in 7.
And Senators, Bruins.
I'm going to take the Bruins on that one in 7.
All right, I have the Capitals over the Maple Leafs in 5 games. I think they're gonna shoot quick. Have the Blue Jackets upsetting the Penguins in 7. I have the Canadians beating the Rangers in 6, and I have the Senators upsetting the Bruins or not upsetting, but beating the Bruins in 6 games. So your matchup between Capitals and Penguins?
I'm going to take the Capitals in 7.
And
Rangers and Bruins, I'm going to take the Rangers in 5.
I have the Blue Jackets upsetting the Washington Capitals in 6 games. I think that the Capitals are going to choke this series. And I have the Canadians over the Senators in 4 games. And who do you have for your Eastern Conference Championship?
I have the Capitals. The Capitals versus the Rangers.
Who do you have winning?
Oh, the Capitals in 5.
I have the Blue Jackets upsetting the Canadians and going on to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I have the Blue Jackets again going over the Montreal Canadiens in 7 games. And for your Stanley Cup Finals, you have the Blackhawks up against the New York Rangers. Who do you have winning?
Blackhawks in 6, baby.
I have my St. Louis Blues beating the Columbus Blue Jackets in 6 games. Now moving on to the NBA, we're gonna shoot through quick because we don't have that much time left. So we have Cleveland 1 seed, Boston, Toronto, Washington, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Chicago, Indiana for the East, and for the West we have the Golden State, San Antonio, Houston, Utah, Clippers, Thunder, Grizzlies, and Portland. So playoff matchups we have Cleveland against Indiana, Boston, Chicago, Toronto, Milwaukee, Washington, Atlanta. Who do you have? Cleveland, Indiana.
I'm taking Cleveland over Indiana, Chicago over Boston, Milwaukee over Toronto, and Atlanta over Washington.
I have Cleveland over Indiana. I have Chicago. I have Boston beating Chicago. I have Toronto beating Milwaukee, and Washington beating Atlanta, which sets up for me Cleveland against Washington, Boston against Toronto. For you, it sets up Cleveland against
Chicago.
Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Atlanta.
Atlanta and Milwaukee against Chicago. Who do you have in that series?
I have Chicago over Milwaukee, and I have Cleveland over Washington.
You have
Atlanta, sorry.
I have Cleveland beating Washington in 6, and I have Boston beating Toronto in 6. And you have Cleveland against Chicago. Who do you have winning that series?
Chicago, baby.
I have Boston beating Cleveland in 7 games, which sends Chicago to the NBA Finals and sends Boston to the NBA Finals. Looking at the West, we have Golden State against Portland, San Antonio against Memphis, Houston against Oklahoma City, and Utah against the Clippers. Who do you have between Golden State and Portland?
I have Golden State over Portland. I have San Antonio over Memphis. I have Oklahoma over Houston, and the Jazz over the Clips.
I have the Golden State Warriors beating the Portland Trail Blazers in 6 games. I have San Antonio beating Memphis in 6 games. I have Houston beating Oklahoma City in 7, and I have the Jazz beating the Clippers in 7, which sets up for you Golden State up against
Clippers. I'm gonna go with Golden State over the Clippers.
And then you have San Antonio up against Oklahoma City.
I'm gonna take San Antonio, eliminating Oklahoma.
All right, for me, I have the Utah Jazz upsetting the Golden State Warriors in 6 games, and I have the Houston Rockets upsetting the San Antonio Spurs in 7 games. So for your championship series, you have Golden State against San Antonio. Who do you have?
I have San Antonio.
I have Houston beating Utah in 7 games, which sets up Houston against Boston for me, and then Chicago against the Spurs for you. Who do you have? Spurs and Chicago.
I have Chicago.
And how many games?
7.
And I have the Houston Rockets beating the Boston Celtics 7 games. James Harden, Finals MVP. Who do you have Finals MVP for Chicago?
Jimmy Buckets, baby. Finals MVP.
And that is it. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and thank you very much, and stay tuned for more content.
Guys, if you guys have any comments, if you guys have anything you want us to talk about, please put it in the comments below, and check out the link in the description below for a special offer from Upcoming Legend. It is a friend of mine's clothing line, so please go check it out.
Thank you very